Today, I'm going to be reacting to our dear friend Adrian Barker's watch collection. Welcome back to the Chisholm Hunter channel. My name is Harrison, as always, and I've been good friends with Adrian now for about 2 years. We talk pretty regularly, we have regular watch snobbery chats, and it's only fitting that I react to his watch collection. So let's jump straight into our laptop, start recording this screen, expand Adrian, make him a big bubble, and let's go.
Kat, we're kind of just starting, I guess it depends on how you look at it, but you could say that we're starting right at the top.
I'm just going to pause it straight there, that's really quick. That is not at the top of his watch collection. There is no I know what watches he has coming, and I do not think this model comes at the top of that. But let's just keep it going. Yeah, that was just a quick one.
Is my Rolex Submariner, the 50th anniversary Submariner, the 16610 LV. This was my only watch for quite a long time. It wasn't my first nice watch. This was my second nice watch, actually.
You know, the thing about the Rolex Submariner 50th anniversary that I've always seen is it's very hard to get them in good condition. And actually, if you look really closely at the top, I know that Adrian has a little issue here. If you look at the top, you can see a scratch on the bezel of this dial, or not the bezel of this dial, the bezel of this watch. Now, this isn't just an Adrian issue. This is quite a lot of the watch industry that have this issue with the Rolex Kermit 50th anniversary. I think it's a bloody good looking watch. I would actually pick this over the Hulk. I think having that green bezel but dark dial kind of mutes down the watch a lot, and actually when you get hands-on with the Kermit, it's a lot darker green than you might expect. Brilliant watch, but I just think it's hard to get one that looks really clean and new nowadays, obviously because they've been discontinued for a while. But overall, epic watch. Let's get on to the next one, which is a bit more niche.
Next watch is my most expensive to the cheapest. This is my CWC G10 or W10, depending on what you want to call it. This is the military, or was rather, the British military issue watch. I bought this.
You know, this is really, really cool, and I love it when collectors go down this road. I love it when collectors have such niche watches that they actually educate other collectors about that brand because of how niche their watches are. Watches have personality, watches have history, and although to me I prefer the looks of a Hamilton khaki field to this specific model, I'm sure that this watch has a hell of a lot of history. And sometimes the reason you buy a watch isn't for the aesthetics itself, it's for the brand history, it's for the story that watch tells. And I'm sure this tells a pretty awesome story.
eBay for about 60, 70 quid, I think it was. It was all bashed up, all scratched up. The glass was completely destroyed. It just needed a bit of polywatch and a bit of a polish. And this was actually issued back in 2006. You can see the 06 in the serial number, and the W10 means that this was issued to someone in the army.
That is awesome. Knowing the backstory to that, knowing that it has that engraving and that story on the back of this watch. By the way, for 70 quid, I think you've had a bargain there, Adrian. That is absolutely awesome. I'm not even gonna say anything negative about this watch because of the history behind it. And I think that's a lot of what watchmaking is, just having a brilliant amount of history, telling a story with that watch. So let's move on to the next one, which, yeah, I know exactly what watch he's gonna go. Let's have a look. I've got a couple of points to make about this watch.
Expensive, he says. The next watch is the Rolex Explorer 14270. This one is from 1999. I actually bought this watch 4 years ago to do a review on this channel. I bought it to slate it. I bought it to rip into how boring it is and how overrated the Explorer was. 4 years later, this is by far my favorite watch in my collection, and it is genuinely my favorite watch, full stop.
This is interesting, and this happens a lot in the watch industry. A lot of the time, especially when I worked in the store actually, a lot of the time people would come in and they would have an idea of the watch that they wanted. They would then put that watch on their wrist and they wouldn't like it at all. And it kind of goes back to that old thing. Nothing online looks the same as it does in person, so you really need to get each watch on the wrist. Adrian bought this watch to slate it. He wanted to rip into it on his YouTube channel, as he sometimes does. He wanted to go on a rant about it. But as soon as he got it on his wrist, he realized how incredible this watch actually was. Now, this watch comes in at 36mm. That's too small for me. I have to say that. Adrian prefers a little bit, his watch is a little bit smaller than I do, and I just think he prefers them too small, in my opinion. I think they just go too low. I would like this in around about a 39mm, but I think for the price you're paying for this Rolex, a Grand Seiko, the finishing on a Grand Seiko is probably a lot better. So I personally would probably go down the Grand Seiko look. They have that clean aesthetic, that minimal look, and beautifully textured dials normally. By the way, Adrian, your fingernails are fantastically trim. Just thought I'd say that.
Even if I was in the position to own my grey, what's hated more within the watch community, Rolex or an Apple Watch? People are probably going to say Rolex.
No, I would say the Apple Watch. I'm actually going to skip that. I do not think that electronic watches. I think that when you get like the Tag Heuer Connected or a couple of the other brands that are going down that route, I understand where they're going, but I think that kills the soul of watchmaking. I think that watches should have those complicated movements in them. That is what gives them soul. These are just more screens to have on your wrist, and we look at enough screens nowadays. I'm an editor, I'm a video editor, videographer, photographer, so I spend a lot of my time on a screen, and I'm trying to cut that out. I'm trying to minimize that. And to have something on your wrist that measures everything about you, that tracks everything about you, but is also just another screen to distract you, in my opinion, I'm just not a fan.
The next watch is a watch that I have a love-hate relationship with. This is my Tudor Blancpain 58 Black, the original Blancpain 58. I keep trying to sell this watch because I kind of just feel like it's a very Instagrammable watch. It's just so photogenic, and it's kind of too good looking. No, I don't know what it is. This watch,
you know what it is with the Blancpain range? It is absolutely stunning. They've got brilliant movements in them. Their marketing's fantastic. Tudor as a brand are excelling, but do they lack some kind of spice? Do they lack some kind of flavor? I think the Blancpain Heritage Editions don't, because they have those colorful dials. My Blancpain Burgundy, the original ETA, has some more sprinkles of personality put in there, but the Blancpain 58s, they're almost too clean looking. They're too good looking. I love Tudor, I've got Tudor, but I just think that the Blancpain 58 needs some more color popped in there. Maybe if he got the blue one, he wouldn't have done. Anyway, I've gone on a rant, let's keep going.
There's a lot of character, but I think a lot of its characters, I'll talk about changes later on. Next watch is the Hamilton Khaki mechanical field watch. The best, in my opinion, the best watch that you can get for under £500. This retails for around £300-400. This was actually a gift to me from Ben over at Wristworthy, but he gave it to me because we...
Absolutely incredible watch. There's nothing bad to say about this watch at all. I think the NATO strap, the blue NATO straps, plays wonderfully against that white dial. Personally, I have the black dial variant of this with the green khaki strap, and I broke it. I went hiking, I pulled the crown out, stumbled, hit a rock, it popped the crown back in a weird way, so I broke this watch, totally my fault. But this was genuinely my everyday wearer for a very, very long time, and there's no wonder why. It's a great looking watch for an affordable price. You're not scared to wear it, you're not scared to get it damaged because it's pretty damn indestructible, apart from to me. I think Hamilton are just absolutely smashing it at the moment. I could go into more detail about Hamilton, but I think we get it. It's an awesome watch.
Recent watch that I've bought, a watch that does have a good amount of water resistance, is my last watch in my collection, and that is my Omega Seamaster Professional 300 meter. This is the most recent watch that I've bought.
And it's the best looking watch that you've bought, Adrian. This is an absolutely insane watch. You know, we actually get comments. We get comments quite a lot on the Chisholm Hunter YouTube channel now, saying, did you copy Adrian, or did Adrian copy you with the Omega Seamaster Great White? And my inclination said that I didn't copy anyone. I don't think Adrian did either, but then I looked into it. I did some digging. Was I influenced by Adrian's marketing and didn't even know? So I looked into it, and it turns out that I'd actually bought my Omega Seamaster before Adrian bought his. Do with that what you will, but I don't think I copied anyone. It is a fantastic model. It's iconic. I do prefer the rubber strap. I believe Adrian probably prefers a NATO strap. And I just think it looks a lot better with that NATO rubber. I've had every single strap variation on this watch, and the one that I always land on is the rubber. Don't really know why, but I just do. It looks absolutely incredible. The green, the new green Omega Seamaster is absolutely unbelievable. The renders online, it looks quite bright, vibrant green, but when you actually get it on the wrist and you look at it in person, it's almost black, gray to black, and it looks so dark until you get up close, and then you see those flakes, those flecks, those flashes of green going through it. It's absolutely stunning. It truly, truly is. We're actually gonna hop away from this video at the moment because this is the end of his watch collection in this video. However, I know that Adrian released a new video a couple of months ago with some updates, some upgrades to his watch collection, which we can see on his channel. So let's have a look, shall we? Okay, let's start at the beginning, shall we? So, what is this? What have you got, Adrian? What is
already with this watch, their packaging, the way that they've created this thing, they really could teach, or no, they probably will be teaching the watch industry a few things about doing watches.
Yeah, okay. The point that Adrian just made about Apple teaching the watch industry about watches, is this? Is it an Apple? Yeah, it is. It's the Ultra. The thing you just said about the Apple Watch Ultra teaching the watch industry a couple of things about digital watches, I actually don't disagree with. But that's almost like telling Tesla that BMW show them how to make mechanical cars. Apple have been specializing in this area for, what, 10 years? When did you get your first iPhone, Drew?
Well, the first one came out in 2008, I got mine.
2008?
Well, that's when the first came out.
So the first iPhone came out in 2008. It's now 2012, I'm so old. It's 2023 at the moment. So it isn't very fair to say that, oh, they'll be teaching the watch industry. The watch industry have specialized in mechanical watches. Apple have been specializing in technology. So I don't think it's fair to say that. However, I do agree with it. But you could say that in anything. Like if I talk to someone that specialized in Chisholm Hunter jewelry about watches, they could say that they could teach me about jewelry, and I could, on the same breath, say that I could teach them about watches. Tag, or let's say Omega can teach Apple about mechanical watches, and Apple could teach Amiga about electric stuff. I don't know. Let's keep going.
Watch. And Apple, from what I've experienced already with this, is like, this is my root beer. The Rolex GMT Master II root beer with the black and brown bezel.
Now this is sexy. This screams, I'm a silver fox. Not calling you a silver fox, Adrian, not at all, but it does scream, I'm a silver fox, I've made it, and I want to show off a little bit. And that is what this watch says to me. It's not overbearing. It doesn't scream at people, but it just is really subtly handsome and subtly good looking. This is one of my favorite watches within the Rolex range, apart from a couple of Daytonas and other stuff, but this is one of my favorite watches because it's just understated. You would never think that brown, what they've used here, would really look well in a watch, but Rolex, as they normally do, pull it off and it looks absolutely phenomenal. This watch, by the way, there's a screaming kid outside, I do apologize. This watch is amazing. I don't even know what else to say about it. It's just a bloody good looking piece. Right, let's move on to your final watch, Adrian. What are we working with? That looks vintage. Let's see.
My grandfather's Omega Seamaster, DeVille. He had two Seamasters. This is, my dad thinks this is from the 60s. My granddad had two Seamasters. He had a steel case, and this was his dressy gold. I can't tell if this is capped gold plated. There are hallmarks. I can't make out what the hallmarks are. I don't have anything that goes down to that magnification. But it's got a little bit of weight to it, but not a huge amount of weight, so it's probably not solid gold.
You know, again, amazing story. I'm not going to slate this watch in any way because it's phenomenal. The story behind it's phenomenal. The fact that you have sentimental value to that watch is phenomenal. The tools in order to see those hallmarks, you know, Chisholm Hunter actually we have. So fire away, Adrian, bring it in if you want to read them, and we can get that sorted for you. But that's amazing. I didn't even know Omega did, the Seamaster DeVille, the kids running it, you know, I don't think I'm ever going to have, I say that now, I mean, I'm 25, but kids are just not on the horizon. See, when I hear that kind of stuff, it gives me pure anxiety. I didn't even know that Omega did a Seamaster DeVille. I've not seen this watch before. So Adrian was saying it was from the 1960s. It's a vintage looking watch. I'm sure that he would never sell it because of this. And I like the way it's actually patinaed. I like watches that patina. I remember one of the first Hamilton watches that we reviewed on this channel, please don't watch it because it's quite embarrassing, I'm quite shy at that point, was the Hamilton Khaki Field Bronze. And I remember them talking about how it patinaed over time. And me not really sure how I felt about it. Surely a watch patinaing would mean that it decreases in value over time because it looks older. That's what I thought when I first joined in the industry. But then I realized that it gives the watch character. It makes the watch your own, and it makes watches, or no two watches, the same. And that's a great thing. And that is Adrian Barker's watch collection. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you've enjoyed, please hit that subscribe button. This is more of just a talking watches video. I don't really know. We don't really do reacts videos. If you want to see more of them, then let me know in the comments, and we'll see you in a couple of days.